when I interviewed Leon, we talked about the movie Colors, which he had a role in. And that was the first time you saw Crips and Bloods on the big screen.
Yeah.
Period.
So that came out before the Michael Jackson's video, huh? What was the video that Mike did where he had the Crip homies in it?
Beat It?
Was it Beat It? That was Beat It? Okay. So that's prior to Beat It is after?
Hold on. Let me see. Well,
but you talking about cinema and stuff, yeah, so yeah.
Beat It came out in 82, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there were, and I heard you, I know what you're talking about. They were probably actual gangsters.
Oh yeah, they was real dudes.
But you never heard the word Crip. You never heard the word Blood.
Yeah.
They may have had bandanas on, but there was no.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
So I almost think you can't really count that. Okay. I'm talking about like, yo, listen, here's a movie and here are actual Crips from LA, actual Bloods, and we're showing the conflict of this back and forth.
Yeah.
And what I said, Leon disagreed with me. I felt like it kind of started the romanticization
of the gang
of the gang. But this was actually, I believe, the first film that actually put Bloods and Crips on the big screen.
Yeah, it was the definitive gang movie, and from the soundtrack to the extras that were really gang members, and as actors, Robert Duvall and especially Sean Penn, they get deep into their roles, and so was everybody else. And so that when you have people at the top doing that, it makes for a very realistic movie.
Well, like I said, you look in 2020 and you have Bloods and Crips in every state, in almost every country.
Mm-hmm.
Rappers are becoming Bloods and Crips after they become popular. It's in popular culture. And so forth. You almost wonder if it wasn't for that film, would that have happened, that phenomenon? Because there were so many other gangs around the country, but Bloods and Crips in particular, after that film, I felt like were romanticized to a certain degree.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. I've never heard anyone say Bloods and Crips have been romanticized. So, but I don't really know if it's so much of it being romanticized as it gaining popularity as opposed to people wanting to have that name to whatever sect that they're part of.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, America has always romanticized the outlaw, whether it was Billy the Kid
because I think
or
before
Al Capone.
that we had the Warriors movie. That was early 80s, huh? Or was it late 70s?
But that wasn't based on real gangs.
Bloods,
like you didn't see no one with face paint and baseball bats. These were actual gangs. And now, you got this theatrical movie. It was a big actor like Sean Penn and everything else like that. And it almost makes you think, right? If it wasn't for that movie, would there still be Crips and Bloods to the extent that you have internationally, all around the world, in every state, damn near every city, if it wasn't for that movie?
Maybe not. I don't know. But I do know that even the reason why they're in different states too ain't just because of the movie though. Crips and Bloods actually, we got family from, even though we might be based in LA, we are related to somebody outside of California. And a lot of us used to go back and visit our family and just be who we were. And by virtue of who we were, how we dressed, how we talked, just people gravitated towards that too. So it started on a bunch of different fronts, but I'm sure the movie had big influence also, yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is there are lots of other gangs out there that are still around today that were around back then. Like, look at the Latin Kings.
Yeah.
A very large organization. Look at the Black Guerrilla family.
Gangster Disciples, all that.
Look at the Gangster Disciples.
Yeah.
Look at the Black Disciples.
Yeah.
And although you do see that, like you got GDs in Memphis and everything else like that, like Crips and Bloods, I feel, are the most well-marketed gang, period.
Yeah, it's well marketed by who though? It ain't marketed. I mean, we ain't benefiting from it like we should have, like, but we just,
Right.
you know,
Well,
the leaders
marketed
weren't
by
that intelligent. Yeah.
Marketed by rappers.
Yeah.
Marketed, you know, because remember there was, you know, DJ Quick was the first one to actually mention a specific gang on his records.
Yeah.
I never heard Eazy-E call himself a Kelly Park Crip. Matter of fact, I never heard NWA say the word Crip.
They did though, but yeah. They
very,
wasn't saying
very,
exactly.
very,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, just seldom.
Very sparingly. Now, I mean, you know, now it's like you got the YGs of the world.
Now it's like you almost have to be something now in order to even be accepted. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very different. I mean, who knows, man? Listen, at the end of the day, who knows? It's history happened, and it's now part of history. But
Right.
you know, someone had to say, okay, I'm going to invest millions of dollars, and you know, because originally that movie, I actually looked it up, was originally set in Chicago.
Okay.
And it was going to be completely different. And then by the time it got, you know, the studios got into it, they're like, this ain't going to work. You know, why don't we base it in LA? Okay, well, if it's in LA, then we got to use these gangs, and then boom.
Yeah, because the people in Chicago probably wasn't going to go for that shit because they, you know, they way well more organized, and they had a hierarchy and a you know, they was up under a command and shit that they had to follow. So it probably wasn't going to work there anyway, you know?
Yep.